Good evening, I'm Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. The MCO may be lifted, but border control is something Malaysia will need to look at tightening, the Health Ministry has cautioned.
Health Ministry Director General Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah reported 90 recoveries today, with 71 new cases and 2 new deaths, bringing the national death toll to 95. This brings the total number of recoveries to 3,542, with 1,966 patients still being treated for COVID-19.
Today, I think for the last couple of days, we have seen double digit. That's good. But what we like to attract, what I would like to draw your attention here is today we have 71 cases. 19 cases are imported cases, so which means 52 local transmission. Out of the 52 local transmission, 22 involving foreign workers from India, Bangladesh, as well as Pakistan. That is from Selangor mentioned. So again, we need to really look into the local transmission.
Dr. Hisham said even if the MCO is lifted, that doesn't mean lifting border control measures, which he said should be tightened.
Yeah, I think that's the most important in terms of border control. That is I think because you look into imported cases, the success of the control is basically the border control. We need to tighten border control, especially when we look into more cases being identified in other countries. So we need to tighten the border control so that the easing of the restriction may be. We are looking into economic in terms of whether we can allow some of the economic sector to take off first, whereby the social, the education sectors will have to wait a little bit more longer.
People have questioned why the government does not give a heads up to residents in an enhanced movement control area before it's closed off. Our senior minister has a clear explanation. Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob revealed today that the government does not notify residents within an area placed under the Enhanced Movement Control Order because of fears they may leave.
Kita tutup dulu malam pukul 2 saya umum. Sebab kita takut mereka larilah. Kalau kita beri tempoh 2 hari, tentu saja mereka akan lari. Bayangkanlah di Selangor Mansion itu hari, 2 yang lari itu adalah COVID positif. Dan kita terpaksa menggunakan bantuan polis, PDRM, untuk menangkap semula mereka. Sebab jika dibiarkan, tentu sajalah mereka akan menjangkiti orang lain dan seterusnya akan merebak lebih besar lagi.
Meanwhile, with Muslims all around the world set to observe the holy month of Ramadan, Ismail Sabri outlined how Malaysians can do it safely in the MCO setting.
SOP Ramadan sama saja dengan SOP bulan-bulan biasa di PKP 1, 2 dan sebahagian daripada 3. Kecuali yang pertamanya dari segi kenderaan awam. Dulu 5 hingga 10 malam. Kita tambahkan masa 1 jam, iaitu pukul 4 hingga 10 malam.
Markets will also be open longer to allow shoppers to prepare for food to begin and break their fast.
Jadi kalau dulu daripada pasar ditutup pukul 12 tengah hari, sekarang kita tambahkan sehingga pukul 2 petang. Jadi ini untuk memudahkan rakyat kita untuk berbelanja di pasar-pasar bagi menyediakan makanan untuk berbuka dan juga untuk bersahur.
In a separate development, Ismail Sabri revealed that the number of daily arrests of individuals violating the movement control order remained high.
PDRM telah menangkap 763 individu berbanding dengan 865 individu pada hari sebelumnya kerana engkar PKP yang merangkumi 648 individu yang direman dan 115 individu diberikan jaminan polis. Seramai 860 individu juga telah dituduh di mahkamah semalam.
Complaints over food shortages by residents affected by the lockdown in Selayang appears to have been addressed today.
The enhanced MCO enforced at the wee hours of April 20 saw an area surrounding the Selayang wholesale market being cordoned off with 10-foot high barbed wire. Following this, there have been video clips making their way out of the area, purportedly of residents claiming that they are without any food. Earlier today, Batu MPP Prabhakaran was distributing food aid to about 1,000 Taman Murni residents in Selayang. Prabhakaran had previously raised issue of inadequate food supplies and Welfare Department food aid which has yet to reach the residents.
Macam contoh semalam saya dapat aduan hanya dapat beras, minyak dengan tepung. So penduduk sana komplain nak buat apa dengan 3 barang saja. So memang mereka merasa marah, tapi saya faham sebab perkara ini pun bukan kita dah tahu awal. Saya pastikan JKM akan serahkan bantuan-bantuan yang sepatutnya.
However, the government will ensure that food distribution problems in the area will be resolved today. This assurance was given by the Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob following the National Security Council meeting today.
Jadi jika mereka inginkan memerlukan barangan lain selain pada yang dibekalkan, boleh hubungi pusat operasi yang telah pun kita wujudkan. Jadi sepatutnya tidak timbul isu yang perlu diperbesarkan kerana pegawai daripada kebajikan masyarakat dan sebagainya sentiasa berada di pusat operasi.
Minister of Federal Territories Anwar Musa in a press conference today reassured that residents will have enough supplies throughout the 2-week lockdown, especially when the fasting month begins tomorrow. He also apologised for the delay as food supplies only arrive in batches.
Tadi saya telah mengadakan perbincangan dan memutuskan barang makanan yang dihantar itu akan diberi cukup untuk 14 hari sehingga akhir tempoh. Kita dah ada hari keempat, ada 10 hari lagi. Makanan akan diberikan sekurang-kurangnya 2 kali hantaran. 1 hantaran cukup untuk 7 ke 10 hari.
Anwar said that census revealed there are about 17,000 residents, out of which there are 10,000 foreigners staying in 3,200 residential units. The remaining 7,000 are locals living in 1,500 residential units.
The Health Ministry has identified close to 30 COVID-19 clusters so far. One of those is in Sandayan, a town in Negeri Sembilan. The news has done more than just shock this quiet town. Shazwana Amir has more.
Al-Arqam, an Islamic religious sect, came under the spotlight in the 1990s after the then government declared it as deviant and arrested its leaders, including founder Ash'ari Muhammad, under the now defunct Internal Security Act. Led by Ash'ari's younger brother Hashim Muhammad, the rest of the group then set up Al-Bab Family Trading AFT in Sandayan Negeri Sembilan in 2012. The group of 60 families and 300 members have built up a chain of grocery stores, restaurants, clinics and became a household name in Sandayan. They have generally kept a low profile but in recent weeks suddenly found themselves once again under the national spotlight after a new COVID-19 cluster spread in the group. Mikdam, who manages Katran Nada, a nasyid band under the group, said it was only after one of their leaders passed away did they realise that the virus had infiltrated the close-knit community.
Ya, sebenarnya memang dia dah ada sakit pencemaran dengan darah tinggi. Lepas tu dia ada komplikasi jantung juga. Tak sihat lah. Memang maksudnya dia kadang-kadang kalau dia sihat tu dia keluar lah. Kadang-kadang dia kerap sakit lah kan.
After the leader's death, the Health Ministry immediately swung into action and began tracing his close contacts. They found that 39 people within the leader's circle had been infected. Later, it was alleged that about 8,000 people from 20 housing areas in Sri Sandayan were ordered to conduct health screenings. The fake news spread through WhatsApp groups also sparked panic among the locals.
Itulah dia. Dia terperanjat tu memang terperanjat lah. Memang orang kata suatu benda yang agak terkejut lah. Daripada zero tu, daripada tak ada apa-apa penjangkitan, tiba-tiba dia terus ada. Daripada 1 terus jadi sampai ke ni lah. Ke 30 lebih tu. Bagi masyarakat memang agak terkejut. Memang agak terkejut.
Suasana agak panik jugalah ketika tu. Tetapi setelah kita mendapati, saya selalu menasihatkan rakan-rakan dan juga penduduk yang saya kenali, teman-teman di taman saya, supaya jangan panik. Kita hari-hari duduk di TV. Pukul 4.30 ke 4 tu kita tunggu pengumuman daripada pengarah Ketua Pengarah Kesihatan kita. Itu maklumat yang tepat, saya kata.
It turned out that the message which went viral on WhatsApp was not true. MOH only conducted a 2-day screening involving 300 members of the group.
Lepas tu hal yang saya baca dalam FB, banyak orang cakap ada buat tahlil apa semua, itu tak betul tu sebenarnya. Kami langsung tak ada buat majlis tahlil ke apa, tak ada.
According to Mikdam, all members of the group were still in the quarantine period after being screened by MOH. Shazwana Amir reporting for Kini TV.
Before COVID-19 became an international crisis, Malaysia was facing a crisis of its own with the fall of the Harapan government. A new coalition, Perikatan Nasional, would emerge victorious at the federal level. But there's still room for improvements at the state levels, according to a senior UMNO leader. The Perikatan Nasional government, led by Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, was formed due to cooperation between individual elected representatives and not on the basis of a common policy. This was one of the main reasons why PN had failed to coordinate at the state level, according to Sabah UMNO chairperson Bung Mokhtar Radin. In a special program, khas bersama pengurusi UMNO Sabah, Bung, who is also Kinabatangan MP, explained that PN was created to form a government among MPs who supported Muhyiddin as Prime Minister. Bung said Sabah UMNO did not have the time to establish PN cooperation in Sabah because right after the government was created, the nation was struck by the COVID-19 crisis. He said this has caused constraints between the parties when it comes to discussions. Previously, UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi had penned a letter to Muhyiddin asking for several Sabah UMNO leaders to be appointed to lead government agencies. Sabah UMNO is perceived to have tense relations with Sabah Bersatu, which was formed by many defectors from UMNO. Coming up next, iPhone and iPads may be exposed to a security flaw. More on that after this. Are you using an iPhone or an iPad? This next story may worry you, but Apple has a fix on the way. Apple Incorporated is planning to fix a flaw that a security firm said may have left more than 500 million iPhones vulnerable to hackers. The bug, which also exists on iPads, was discovered by ZecOps, a San Francisco-based mobile security forensics company, which was investigating a sophisticated cyber attack against a client that took place in late 2019. Zach Avraham, ZecOps chief executive, said he found evidence that the vulnerability was exploited in at least 6 cybersecurity break-ins. An Apple spokesperson acknowledged that a vulnerability exists in Apple's software for email on iPhones and iPads, known as the Mail app, and that the company had developed a fix which will be rolled out in a forthcoming update on millions of devices it has sold globally. However, Apple declined to comment on Avraham's research, which was published on Wednesday, that suggests that the flaw could be triggered from afar and that it had already been exploited by hackers against high-profile users. Avraham said he found evidence that a malicious program was taking advantage of the vulnerability in Apple's iOS mobile operating system as far back as January 2018. He could not determine who the hackers were, and Reuters was unable to independently verify his claim. To execute the hack, Avraham said victims would be sent an apparently blank email message through the Mail app, forcing a crash and reset. The crash opened the door for hackers to steal other data on the device, such as photos and contact details. While Apple is largely viewed within the cybersecurity industry as having a high standard for digital security, any successful hacking technique against the iPhone could affect millions due to the device's global popularity. In 2019, Apple said there were about 900 million iPhones in active use. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Michael. Thank you for watching.